Quick to Patton, throws his pass, caught by Clark. He's alone down the near sideline, the 40, the 50, cuts off to the field at the 40. He's on his way to the 30, outrunning the defense. He'll go all the way. Touchdown for San Francisco's Dwight Clark.
One of the most popular sports league in the country, the NFL, has been a powerhouse and renowned since becoming founded in 1920. Millions of people across and even outside the country are very passionate about the NFL and their team, and also the many players associated with the sport. There are so many players across the league with varying positions throughout. Out of the many positions, however, the running back is considered one of the most crucial parts of any football team. While dependent on a good offensive line, running backs can make or break a team and can mean the difference between making the Super Bowl and missing out on the playoffs entirely. There have been countless past and present running backs who have certainly made a name for themselves as among the best in league history based on their physical and mental attributes. Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, etc. But one name that seems to be forgotten about recently is Phillip Lindsay. Once a rising star in the league with the Denver Broncos, he soon got cast aside and bounced around teams a bit before retiring early. Let's take an in-depth look and find out what happened to the once promising running back Phillip Lindsay. Phillip Lindsay was born on July 24, 1994 in Denver, Colorado, very fitting given his future. He attended South High School and played running back on the football team just like his dad. He had dreams of making it to the pros and was determined to reach a school record for all-time rushing yards, previously at 4,400. It was also previously set by his own father in 1979. In Lindsay's senior year, he finally attained his goal and broke the record. The excitement was short-lived because soon following that, he suffered a severe ACL tear that sidelined him for the rest of his high school career. Despite this, he achieved a total of 4,587 rushing yards in high school, and also played other sports in high school, such as basketball and track and field. Following his graduation, Lindsay attended the University of Colorado Boulder and joined the football team in the fall of 2013. He redshirted his freshman year, but right before the 2014 season, he gained the nickname the Tasmanian Devil due to his speed and great determination on the football field. He played 4 years and all 51 games with the Buffaloes and was even named team captain at one point. He was a true star and sensation in college as he became the all-time leader in all-purpose yards and yards from scrimmage with the Buffaloes. He was named second team All-Pac-12 with honors and was even a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award in his senior year, which goes to the nation's best college running back every year. Things were really looking up for him and he seemed to have a bright future in the NFL for 2018. However, the very start of his NFL career did not kick off as he might have anticipated. He went completely undrafted in the 2018 NFL Draft, even with an abundance of talent chosen in the draft, like future superstars Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Derwin James, Micah Fitzpatrick, and many more. Luckily, 3 days after the draft concluded on May 1st, the Denver Broncos signed him as an undrafted free agent. Looking to overcome his adversity, he had a brilliant and impressive preseason and was named to the final roster. He was named third on the running back depth chart, but slowly found his way to the starting lineup after showcasing what he can do. Before the season and his career started, he chose to wear number 30, a number famously worn already by Broncos legend Terrell Davis. Lindsay sought and asked for permission from Davis to wear his number to represent Davis's legacy and as motivation for Lindsay to pursue NFL greatness. In the first 2 weeks in the league, he became the first undrafted player to go for over 100 scrimmage yards in their first 2 games. In week 11, he rushed for 79 yards and 11 carries and had 2 touchdowns, his first multi-touchdown performance. The following week, he gashed the Steelers for 110 yards on 14 carries and a touchdown. The next week, he put on another remarkable performance against the Bengals, rushing for a career-high 157 yards on 19 carries and 2 touchdowns. Following the week, he won the AFC Offensive Player of the Week award. Following the season, he was named to the Pro Bowl, the very first time an undrafted offensive rookie had been chosen for it. In addition, he was named to the Pro Football Writers of America All-Rookie Team, or the PFWA for short. He rushed for 1,037 rushing yards on 192 carries and had 9 touchdowns, along with 241 receiving yards. He even accomplished all this while still splitting almost equal carries with fellow Broncos running back Royce Freeman. Overall, he achieved one of the greatest years for any rookie running back in NFL history. Following this incredible historic season in 2019, Lindsay continued to deliver. In Week 3, he rushed for 81 yards on 21 carries and had 2 touchdowns. In Week 5 against the Chargers, he put on arguably his best outing of the year, gaining 114 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown. He put on similar production for the rest of the year, and in Week 16 against the Lions, he rushed for 109 yards and 19 carries and 1 touchdown. Following the season, he became the first undrafted player in league history to achieve 1,000 yards rushing in the first 2 seasons. Lindsay rushed for 1,011 yards on a career-high 224 carries and 7 touchdowns. He also had 196 receiving yards on 35 catches. There looked to be a very high ceiling for the rookie sensation. In 2020, everything changed in a major unexpected way. On March 26, during free agency, the Broncos signed Melvin Gordon III to a 2-year, $16 million contract. Lindsay later revealed that he was lobbying for a new contract from the Broncos during this all, and he heard the news when it happened. He stated that he felt slighted and like he had to prove his worth to the team now. Although he was angry with the team for not trusting him as their future long-term back, he still went forward with training camp and played out the season. However, during Week 1, he suffered a toe injury and had to leave the game. He later missed the next 3 weeks due to the injury. He returned in Week 6 against the Patriots after the team's bye week, but at that point, the Broncos slowly started focusing on Gordon as their premier running back throughout the season, with Lindsay sharing carries with him and Freeman. Lindsay still rushed for a season high in the game against the Patriots, racking up 101 yards on 23 carries. He rushed well the following 2 weeks and a later game against the Dolphins, but it seemed the Broncos didn't have faith in them as they once did, as his carries diminished by the end of the year. Lindsay eventually also missed the last 2 weeks of the season due to a knee and hip issue and was placed on season-ending injury reserve. Despite all these setbacks, he still rushed for 502 yards on 118 carries. However, he only had 28 receiving yards on a measly 7 catches. After a successful start to his first 2 seasons in Denver, things suddenly were up in the air for the Denver native. The matters were officially settled in March 2021. The Broncos initially placed an RFR, or a right of first refusal, restricted free agent tender on Lindsay, meaning if Lindsay with an expired contract signed another team, the Broncos can match the offer and keep him. Nonetheless, 2 days later on March 18th, the Broncos rescinded the tender and made Lindsay a free agent. Just like that, his Denver career was over after initially so much upside. 12 days later, on March 30th, Lindsay signed with the Houston Texans and became their 3rd running back on the roster. However, unlike the start of his career, he would never prove his worth from that 3rd depth chart spot and would only play 10 games with the Texans after being released on November 23rd. He only got 130 carries for 50 carries with Houston. A day later, he signed with the Dolphins. He achieved moderate success in 4 games and finished his Dolphins' tenure season with 119 rushing yards on 38 touches to make his 2021 output as 249 yards on 81 carries. In 2022, Lindsay was signed by the Indianapolis Colts on May 18th. He eventually was released on August 30th during final roster cuts, but was re-signed a week later on September 6th to the Colts practice squad. Following an injury to Colts starting running back Jonathan Taylor, Lindsay was thrust into action and was elevated on the active roster a few times during his tenure. After not much production on the field, he was finally released from the Colts on November 10th to end his disappointing tenure with the team. He wrapped up only 49 yards on 15 carries. With his NFL future looking bleak, he signed with the Seattle Sea Dragons of the XFL, another American football league. He saw action in the last 3 games of the Sea Dragons season, rushing for a combined 70 yards on 24 touches throughout all games. Following the XFL season, the XFL and the United States Football League decided to merge into the United Football League, or UFL for short, bringing Lindsay's short XFL career to an end disappointingly. Following all this, Lindsay has since retired from football and is now doing sports broadcasting and has found a home for himself. He has stated he enjoys this new career path and being involved in the media. At least he has found happiness with all he has endured. Once thought as one of the NFL's best running backs at one point, to now retired in 5 years is completely unforeseen. Broncos fans have since shared their opinions and some have clamored for their support of Lindsay. However, some claim that a reason why he was kicked out of the league so early on in his young career was due to his ineffectiveness as a pass blocker and receiver for the most part. Even so, Lindsay's story continues to be a remembrance for players to always be resilient when faced with adversity and to expect the unexpected because you never know what could take place in your career.
Way to get off the field. Second down 9, fake to Hamilton. It is a direct snap to Lindsay, who takes it for a first down, running up the sideline. Big time play, 16-yard pickup.